Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on Sports Talk Unplugged. I've got the honor of having a special guest on here today, Mr. JOHN DUNN. He's the sports editor at the Mountain Advocate newspaper, founder and managing director at the All Vol Call-In Show. John, thank you for joining me on the show, buddy. How's your weekend going?
Hey man, thanks for having me. First of all, big fan of what you do, and so far my weekend's going okay, man. A little busy, but enjoying the sunshine, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Uh, Quarantine is not getting me down, buddy, because the Vols are doing some big things, and I definitely want to talk about what they're doing. I know football-wise, recruiting is going great, but I want to dive into Bobby Mays and some of the things that he's doing right now. I know there's a team that they have going on right now. Can you tell me a little bit about the team and what they're hoping to accomplish right now and what they're doing?
Absolutely. So Bobby Mays is Ron Slay. Let me see who else was the other coach. I can't remember the other coach right off the top of my head, but Bobby Mays, Ron Slay, those guys are putting together. They have put together a team that they're putting together for TBT, the basketball tournament played up here in Kentucky. It's comprised of Chris Lofton, Wayne Chisholm, Scotty Hobson, Duke Cruz, Jawan Smith. There's a plethora of former volunteers that have played there, and again, it's the Tennessee Volunteer Squad. Kind of like that myself, but the tournament is a single elimination tournament there in Kentucky. $2 million purse at the end for the winning team. And right now, Tennessee looks to be one of the deepest teams in the field. There's a bunch of other teams from throughout the country. There's going to be, I think, 7 to 9 host spots for that tournament also. But Tennessee looks to be in good shape. What they're trying to do right now is just go out and represent the University of Tennessee pretty well. I had the pleasure of speaking with former University of Tennessee shooting guard, SEC all-time leader in three-point field goals, Chris Lofton, earlier this week.
Right.
And he just, it means a lot to him to be able to come out and represent the university still, to put on the orange jersey, to represent Tennessee, especially in his home state of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just going to try to win some ball games, man. They're not really looking for any particular opponent. They're not going after anybody particularly. They just want to beat everybody in their way, they said, and they're looking forward to a pretty good tournament. But I think they're in pretty good shape.
Absolutely, man. That's something that I definitely want to see. That's for sure. And I want to mention that actually on Facebook, I saw that Ron Slay was on there. I think that he's actually going to be on the team. I just wanted to give a shout out to Ron Slay. So
I think they have him coaching and playing at the same time. So
got it. Okay. Well, I think that's going to be pretty good. If they win this thing, I understand it's like a $2 million prize. I tell you what, man, I wish I played basketball right now and I could be on that squad because that'd be a nice change in the pocket to have. Moving along, hey, I want to get into a little bit about the Vols recruiting and what's going on right now. John, I know that they have 2 5 stars right now in this class. That's Terrence Lewis and Dylan Brooks. And I was pretty shocked. Saw the footage of actually the 4 star kid out of Cedar Hill, Texas. I think it's Caden Salter. He was looking really good. What can you tell me about the recruiting trail and how it's going right now? Do you see the Vols finishing in the top 10 when it's all said and done?
absolutely. On that first, I actually think the Vols will finish top five at worst. I've been saying that for about 3 years now, ever since Jeremy Pruitt was hired. Myself, my staff, multiple friends, other organizations, interviews that I've had have told me, year three will be the year that we really start to see something from Jeremy Pruitt. Not only are we saw at the tail end of last year, obviously last year starting off the season wasn't great with losses to Georgia State, BYU, 2 losses that we will never be able to get back. But had we had them back, finished with a 9-win regular season. But all you need to do is look at that, the tail end of the season, the 6-game winning streak, things like that, the continuity that we began to see near the tail end of the season. We finished on a 6-game winning streak, all kinds of momentum, which has since parlayed into recruiting, it seems. Tennessee snagged Dylan Brooks, first thing, got Terrence shortly thereafter, Mr. Lewis, excuse me. So those are 2 big 5 stars that are also trying to pull other 5 stars to Tennessee with them. We're actually on the board right now, targeted by 3 or 4 other 5-star recruits. Peyton Page, number one defensive tackle in the country, was the number one defensive tackle in the country. I'm not sure he is anymore, but He has Tennessee on the short list between North Carolina, Clemson, Tennessee. So those are the three schools for him. You've got Amarius Mims, offensive tackle, 5-star. Really looking at Tennessee hard. The acquisition of Cody Brown really helped UT in terms of being able to get Amarius Mims because they're really good friends, Brown and Mims. So that's another 5-star. You got Mason Smith looking at Tennessee still. There's a bunch of guys that are still looking at Tennessee. We've got some big 4-stars, but probably my favorite recruit from this class so far is Kamar Wilcoxon. He's come in and he's been trying to recruit kids since the second he committed to UT and has done so. He's actually coerced a couple of 4-stars into committing to Tennessee. So right now on the trail, really nobody has more momentum than Jeremy Pruitt, Brian Niedermeyer, Derek Ansley, and company. So the Vols, I look for them to close out with about 25 commits, 25, 26, somewhere in there. And I expect them to finish in the top 5. And I do expect it to translate onto the field. Now, on to Caden Salter a little bit. Tennessee's quarterback room is pretty full right now. Salter is a 21 commit, so we still got a little while, but we still got Brian Maurer, JT Stroud, Kasim Hill, Harrison Bailey, Jarrett Garantano, and Callaway there at quarterback. So that's 6 quarterbacks right now. I'm expecting 1 or 2 to switch positions, expect a transfer or 2 within the next year. So we should end up with Harrison Bailey, Caden Salter, and insert third quarterback here by next year. So we'll see how it goes. But Harrison Bailey is the quarterback of the future, pro-style quarterback, really fits the offense, really fits the dynamic play calling style that Jim Chaney likes to call. Mindset-wise, I think he fits the exact prototypical quarterback that Jeremy Pruitt wants. Has the ability to open up the running game with his passing game. Huge arm, great decision maker. Really looking forward to see what Harrison Bailey has. But I expect Jarrett Garantano to have a crazy good season this year. He's going to have one of the best, if not the best, offensive lines in the SEC, maybe even the country. I don't know why people are so hard on our receiving corps. We've actually got quite a few very, very talented receivers out there, namely Josh Palmer and Brandon Johnson, both of which I expect to have big, big seasons this year. But on the trail right now, man, nobody is doing it better than Tennessee.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm seeing right now. I think from what I've heard, I think Tennessee is the number 2 class right now nationally. I think the only other team right now is I think it's Ohio State who's up there. So yeah, looking forward to see how that's going to pan out. And like you said, the quarterback room is definitely the deepest that I think I've ever seen at Tennessee so far. So I tell you what, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know there's a lot that you need to get to today, and man, I'm just glad you're on here, John. Thank you so much for joining me on Sports Talk. Is there anything else you want to add?
Man, you can find our stuff. You can check out the All Vol Call-In Show. You can find us on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at JXHNDUNN, all smashed together if you want to follow me, Tennessee fans. I want to give a shout out to my staff. They do a great job. I want to give you a shout out also. You do a phenomenal job, man. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the invitation. And anytime you want to do this, man, you just hit me up and I'll be more than happy to come on and talk with you.
Awesome, man. Always a pleasure. John, thank you so much. Hey, enjoy the weekend, bud.
Yes, sir. You too. Have a great afternoon, man.
You too.